Have you ever looked at your life and thought, this wasn't supposed to happen? You had it all planned out, the relationship, the job, the dream, but somehow it slipped through your fingers. Let me tell you something that may shake your soul. What you lost wasn't a mistake. It was mercy in disguise, because even when you don't understand it, Allah's plan is always perfect. You've been praying for something day and night. It's not even just a want anymore, it's a need, a cry from the deepest part of your soul. And yet there's silence, no sign, no shift, no change, just waiting, and in that waiting, your heart begins to ache. You start to wonder if maybe you're being ignored, maybe your voice isn't loud enough, maybe your tears have gone unnoticed. But what if the silence isn't rejection? What if it's preparation? See, we live in a world that glorifies speed. We want things instantly. Click, done. Message sent, reply now. So naturally, when we ask Allah for something and don't receive it immediately, we assume something's wrong. But here's what no one tells you. Sometimes the wait asterisk is asterisk the answer. Sometimes the delay is the mercy. You're so focused on the outcome that you forget the process, and the process, though slow and hidden, is where your soul expands. We often ask Allah for big things: healing, love, success, clarity. But rarely do we consider that those things require space in our hearts, space that may still be filled with old wounds, unhealed traumas, misguided desires. So he delays, not to punish you, but to make room. He slows down the journey so that by the time you arrive at your destination, you're not just standing there empty-handed, you're standing there whole, ready, equipped. You see, a blessing too early can feel like a burden. A door opened before its time can lead you somewhere you were never meant to survive in. Allah loves you too much to rush something you're not spiritually prepared for. The delay is where the building happens. It's where your patience is tested, where your trust is stretched, where your faith is refined. That space between the dua and the answer, it's sacred. It's where your soul learns to surrender. And surrender isn't weakness, it's strength in its purest form. To say, even when I don't see it, I still believe, is power. To wake up every morning with unanswered prayers and still fall into sujud with hope in your chest, that is a miracle all by itself. The truth is, sometimes Allah makes you wait not because the thing is far away, but because you need to come closer. He slows down the arrival so you have time to rise up, to grow, to detach from what doesn't serve your soul. And in that detachment, in that refining of your intentions, the real gift starts to appear, not just the thing you prayed for, but the version of you that is finally ready to hold it. Because the most beautiful part of the delay is not what you're waiting for, it's who you're becoming while you wait. You wanted it so badly, you visualized it, prayed for it, maybe even planned your whole life around it. And then, just like that, the door slammed shut. The job you thought was yours went to someone else. The person you believed was your forever walked away. The opportunity you were so sure would change your life disappeared. And in that moment, it's hard not to feel broken. You question everything, your worth, your choices, your prayers. You ask yourself why something that felt so right could fall apart so fast. But what if that closed door wasn't rejection at all? What if it was deep, divine compassion? Sometimes we don't realize the dangers that sit behind the things we chase. We only see the surface, the shiny promises, the excitement, the illusion of happiness. But Allah sees what's hidden. He sees the conversations you can't hear, the intentions you can't read, the future you haven't stepped into yet. So when a door closes, it's not always about keeping you out. It's often about keeping your heart safe from something that would have harmed you in ways you couldn't have seen coming. It's in our nature to cling to what we want. We attach meaning to it. We tell ourselves that this asterisk is the thing that will finally make us feel whole, loved, accomplished. So when it slips through our fingers, it feels like a personal failure. But not every loss is a punishment. Not every no is a curse. Sometimes it's a gift that doesn't come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it's the mercy that disguises itself as heartbreak. We don't talk enough about how Allah protects us through disappointment. How he closes doors we're begging him to open, not because he's ignoring us, but because he's redirecting us to something that truly belongs to us. Something that will nourish the soul, not just entertain the ego, but in the moment it's hard to see it. We mistake unanswered prayers for silence. We see closed doors and think we've been forgotten. We forget that protection doesn't always feel peaceful when it's happening. It feels like a storm, but it's actually shelter. It feels like abandonment, but it's divine realignment. You don't have to understand the reason right now. You don't even have to feel okay with it. But what you can do is pause and consider that maybe, just maybe, what didn't happen was the best thing that never happened. That the thing you're mourning was never meant to hold your peace, your purpose, your future. And when you really sit with that, when you stop chasing closure and start trusting that what left wasn't yours, it starts to feel a little less like loss and a little more like love. A love that knows what's ahead and dares to protect you before you even ask for it. You gave your all to someone. You opened your heart, shared your secrets, dreamed out loud with them. You believed in the future you pictured together, and then it all shattered. Just like that, they walked away. Or maybe they stayed, but their love didn't, and now you're left with the quiet ache of a heart that feels like it's been ripped apart, trying to make sense of how something that felt so real could collapse so completely. The hardest part isn't even the goodbye, it's the emptiness that follows, the constant replaying of memories, the what-ifs, the weight of feeling not enough. But what if this heartbreak isn't the end of your story? What if it's the start of a divine redirection? We think love is supposed to last forever, especially when we give it with sincerity. We assume that when we're honest, loyal, and pure in our intentions, things should work out. But sometimes what looks like a connection is actually a lesson. Sometimes the person who came into your life wasn't sent to stay. They were sent to show you what you still needed to heal. They were the mirror, not the destination. And that hurts deeply because you didn't just lose someone. You lost a version of the future you were holding on to. But maybe that future wasn't ever meant to unfold the way you imagined. There's a kind of heartbreak that feels like your soul is being unraveled. But in that unraveling, something beautiful happens. You start to see what you were overlooking. The red flags you justified, the standards you lowered, the parts of yourself you silenced just to keep someone who was never really meant to hold your heart. Heartbreak has a way of waking you up. It strips you down to your rawest self, the version of you that cries in sujud at night, the version that no longer performs strength but begs for it. That space where the love you gave has nowhere to go is where Allah meets you in the most intimate way. There's a reason He allows people to leave. There's a reason He lets some chapters close without closure. Because if He didn't remove them, you would have never walked away. You would have stayed, tolerated less, accepted confusion as love. But He sees what you cannot, and so sometimes He allows your heart to break, not to destroy you, but to rescue you, to pull you back to Him, to remind you that love should never cost you your peace, your dignity, your connection to your Creator. You thought they were the one, but maybe they were just the bridge, the lesson, the wake-up call, the space between who you were and who you're meant to become. Maybe they were sent to show you how much more you deserve, how deeply you need to fall in love with yourself again, how far you've drifted from the one who never breaks hearts, but mends them in ways no one else can. There's a heaviness you carry that no one sees. The way you smile through exhaustion, nod through confusion, and carry on like you're fine, when deep down you're not. You're tired of pretending you're okay, tired of facing battles that feel never-ending, tired of asking, why me? Over and over again. Life has pressed on you from every angle, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and you're starting to feel like maybe you're being punished. But what if you're not being punished at all? What if the struggle you're facing is the very tool being used to strengthen the parts of you that comfort never could? Pain does something that ease can't. It introduces you to yourself. It shows you who you are when everything is stripped away. when there are no titles to hide behind, no relationships to distract you, no successes to make you feel secure. It's in those moments, the dark, quiet ones, that you begin to see what you're truly made of. And even more than that, you begin to see who your sustainer really is. You realize that the strength you've been leaning on wasn't yours in the first place. It was borrowed. It was placed in you moment by moment by the one who sees you drowning in silence, but still reaching for the light. We often think the struggle means something is wrong with us, that maybe if we were more faithful, more obedient, more put together, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through, but some of the strongest souls have walked through the hardest paths. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're being molded, shaped, refined. Like gold in a fire, you are being purified, and purification is not a gentle process. It burns, it melts, it tests every edge of your soul. But the outcome, it's something rare, something real. Struggle is where your character is built. It's where patience isn't just a concept. It becomes a muscle. Where trust isn't just a word, it becomes a lifeline. Where prayer isn't a routine, it becomes a conversation soaked in tears and surrender. The pain forces you to unlearn the idea that you have control and instead embrace the truth that there is a plan much bigger than yours. And that plan includes this moment, this hardship, this aching season. When you're in the middle of it, it feels endless, like you'll never laugh fully again, never breathe deeply without that tightness in your chest. But every moment you endure is counted. Every breath you take while holding back tears is recorded. Not 1 second of your pain is wasted. Even when no one claps for you, even when no one sees your silent strength, it is all being witnessed by the one who matters most. And while you may not see it yet, something within you is being fortified, something unshakable, something that can only be built through what you're walking through right now. It's easy to look around and feel like you're running behind everyone else. Social media shows highlight reels of success, happiness, and milestones, and suddenly your own journey feels small, slow, or even broken. You compare your progress to theirs and wonder why you haven't arrived yet, why you're still struggling while others are already thriving. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your timeline is yours alone. It doesn't follow the clock, the calendar, or anyone else's pace. What looks like falling behind is actually moving perfectly according to a plan written long before you existed. You have to stop thinking about life like a race where everyone else is ahead and you're somehow left behind. Life isn't about being first. It's about being ready. Ready to embrace your purpose, ready to handle your blessings, ready to become the person you were meant to be. And that readiness doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, sometimes painful process of growth that can't be rushed or forced. The fact that you're still here, still fighting, still hopeful, even when it feels like nothing is changing, that is proof you are exactly where you need to be. There's a deeper wisdom in the waiting that your heart can't see right now. Sometimes the delays are divine pauses that protect you from rushing into something incomplete or unprepared. The people, places, or opportunities that seem late to you might be arriving at the perfect moment for your soul. Because when things happen too early, before you're ready, the blessings can become burdens, and the victories can turn into lessons in loss. Allah's timing is not random. It's intentional, precise, and perfectly calibrated for you. The hardest part is surrendering the need to control your story. We want to plan every chapter, predict every outcome, and measure our success by external standards. But real peace comes when you accept that your story is still being written, and the author knows exactly where every twist and turn needs to go. There's freedom in trusting that the detours, the pauses, and even the setbacks are part of a bigger masterpiece. Your narrative is not about rushing to the destination. It's about becoming who you're meant to be along the way. You have to give yourself grace in the seasons of waiting. Stop punishing yourself for not being there yet. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. The growth happening beneath the surface is just as important as what's visible. Your struggles, your lessons, your patience, they are all shaping the foundation of your future. And when the time comes for your breakthrough, it will come not a moment too soon or too late. It will come perfectly aligned with the person you've been becoming through every moment of waiting. So, instead of measuring yourself against others, measure your faith. Measure your ability to hold on when it feels like everything is falling apart. Measure your resilience in the face of uncertainty, because those are the markers of true progress. Your timeline is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth, protection, and divine wisdom guiding your every step. There's a part of you that wants to control everything, every outcome, every reaction, every moment. You try to hold tightly to what feels safe, to what you think will protect you. But life has a way of showing you that control is just an illusion. When things fall apart, when plans change unexpectedly, when pain hits deeper than you ever imagined, it's easy to feel lost and desperate. You grip harder, try to fix what feels broken, but the harder you hold, the more you risk losing yourself. The real strength comes not from control, but from surrender, not from clutching tightly, but from letting go and trusting the one who never lets go of you. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need to have all the answers, to orchestrate every detail. It means admitting that you don't have the power to fix everything, but there is someone who does. Holding on to worry, fear, or frustration only weighs you down. It blinds you from seeing the subtle ways that help and hope are moving closer. When you loosen your grip, you create space for peace, for clarity, for healing. And when you hold on to him instead, even in the midst of uncertainty, you anchor yourself in a love that never fails. Sometimes, the hardest thing you can do is surrender control, because it feels like stepping off a cliff without knowing where you'll land. But that leap of faith is where transformation begins. When you choose to trust without knowing the outcome, you open the door to miracles. You open your heart to guidance beyond your understanding. You allow your spirit to rest, even when the storm rages around you. When everything feels shaky, when you feel like the ground beneath you is crumbling, hold on to the certainty that you are not alone. There is a presence, a power, a force that holds you steady when your own strength falters. That presence doesn't just watch from afar, it carries you, lifts you, sustains you. And when you feel like you can't take another step, it walks with you, step by step, until you can stand on your own again. Letting go means trusting that what is meant for you will never miss you. It means believing that the unseen hands guiding your life are gentle, wise, and loving. It means understanding that your worth and peace are not tied to what you can control, but to who you are in the eyes of the one who created you. When you release your grip on the chaos and hold tight to that truth, you find freedom. Freedom from fear, from anxiety, from the exhausting cycle of trying to manage everything. This journey is not about having all the answers or controlling every detail. It's about learning to live with trust in your heart and surrender in your soul. It's about knowing that when you let go of what breaks you and hold on to what heals you, you step into a peace that passes all understanding. And in that peace, you find the courage to face whatever comes next. So maybe the plan didn't go your way, but maybe, just maybe, it's going his way, and his way, it never fails, it never misses, it never harms, because when the creator of the universe is the author of your story, you can trust that every twist, every pause, every heartbreak is leading you somewhere beautiful. Don't give up, don't let go. Allah's plan is perfect, even when it breaks you. It's building you, even when it confuses you. It's completing you. Your only job is to trust him,